told us the Bible was the word of God, but they never told us it was also used to justify one of the darkest chapters in human history: slavery. Today I'm going to show you 10 Bible verses that were used to promote, condone, and legalize slavery. See, this ain't my opinion. This is in the text, the good book. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's talk about it. Exodus 21, verses 20 to 21. It says, if a man beats his male or female slave with a rod, and the slave dies, he must be punished. But if the slave recovers after a day or two, he is not to be punished, because the slave is his property. Now let that sink in. The Bible literally says that enslaved people were property. And as long as they didn't die immediately, beating them was allowed. Let's look at Leviticus 25, verses 44 to 46. It says, your male or female slaves are to come from nations around you. You may buy them. They will become your property, and you could pass them on to your children as inherited possessions. You see, this wasn't just slavery. It was generational slavery. Approved, endorsed, scripturally legal. Let's look at Ephesians 6, verses 5. It says, slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, and with sincerity of heart, just as you will obey Christ. This verse was read to melanated slaves in America, to keep them obedient, to break their spirit, to spiritually manipulate them into submission. Let's look at Titus 2, verses 9 to 10. It says, teach slaves to be subject to their masters in everything, to please them, not to talk back to them. See, not only were slaves told to obey, but they were told to keep quiet. Sound familiar? Let's look at 1 Peter 2, verse 18. It says, slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. See, this is spiritual programming, justifying abuse in the name of God. You see the pattern? Let's look at Genesis 9, verse 25. It says, cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves he will be to his brothers. This verse was twisted by white supremacists to justify the enslavement of melanated people, calling it the curse of Ham. But it was a manipulation of the text with devastating consequences. Let's look at Exodus 21, verse 7. It says, if a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. See, this ain't just condoning slavery, but treating young girls as property to be sold. This is in the holy book that many people worship without question. Let's look at Deuteronomy 20, verses 10 to 14. It says, when the Lord your God delivers it into your hands, you may take the plunder as women, children, livestock. You may use the plunder the Lord gives you from your enemies. You see, this is spiritual justification for war, rape, enslavement, and pillaging, all wrapped in God said so. Let's look at Luke 12, verse 47. It says, that servant who knows his master's will and does not do it will be beaten with many blows. You see, even Jesus used the slave master language here. The conditioning ran deep. Let's look at Colossians 3, verse 22. It says, slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. This verse was weaponized during slavery in America. It was read from pulpits while my people were in chains. Now ask yourself, why were we only given this one book to read during slavery? Why were we banned from reading anything else? Because they knew what they were doing. This wasn't about salvation. It was about control, about reprogramming your soul. We're not here to bash faith. We're here to wake up, reclaim your spiritual power, reconnect with the true source, and always question what was forced on your ancestors. The prophecy is you. The Great Awakening is here. The time to remember is now.